And I organised something called the Border Leadership Forum, which Sam's helping me out with tonight. And what I've done the last couple of times is try and bring some of the speakers that we have as part of that forum to school for you guys to get to hear some of their story as well. And part of the idea is to get a bit of a snapshot of the impact that good leadership can have. So there's lots of situations you'll come across, and lots of times we feel like we can't have an impact on that. And the guys that we bring to the Border Leadership Forum have a history of being able to make a difference. And Sam's a pretty interesting guy, I hope, because I've got to listen to him twice today, so I hope he's interesting. But he's looked at specifically around land is so expensive. If you think about entering to become a farmer these days, how could you possibly do it? How would you get the money to be able to go out and buy your own bit of land? But as well as that, he's looked at a whole bunch of other issues, so I'll leave it to Sam to give you his story.
Thanks, Steve. Well, good everybody, and thank you very much for inviting me here. I am pumped to give you this presentation. Everyone should have their notepads out because I'm going to give you some gold, and I wish someone like me came and spoke to me when I was your age, because I think you guys are living in the best moment in history to start a business, to make an idea happen, to work. What time does school finish? 3:20? Between 3:20 and midnight every night to create a business, to create the life for yourself that you want to, because you've got this thing in your hand which you're probably banned from using right now, which is a phone and access to internet and social media. And I just think it is so powerful, and I want to get you guys fired up, and I see some of your faces are a bit, what's going on? But I absolutely believe we are in an amazing moment in history that you guys can take advantage of and live the life you want to, and take risks in life, because you've got opportunities ahead of you that I'm only just being able to grab onto now. I spent the last 35 years without these opportunities, and you've got them right now. What are you, 16, 17 years of age? You're so young and you're so much ahead of you, but so many opportunities. And I'm just really pumped, so I hope you guys get pumped from this as well. And I also want to, let's say you don't know what it is you want to do or where you want to be a leader in life. Right now is the best time in history to not know what to do with your life. There are so many ways for you to dabble, and there's so much time ahead of you to take risks and try different things again, I just want you guys to grasp the opportunities that are ahead of you. So I say these things because I've been living it, and I'll give you a bit of background around how I've taken risks and what I've tried, and how I believe the internet and social media has opened up a whole new world for me. And then I'm going to throw it open and ask some questions of you guys around what your interests might be, and also how you're using social media and how you could be using it to create the future that you want. It's all in your hands. So what I'm going to talk about is what I do now, my history, so how I got to where I am now, my alternate history, so what I would do if I heard this speech where you are right now, and what I would do to create my future after today. And then this idea around dabbling, documenting, and being persistent, because I think they're the three things that you need to be great at if you want to create or lead yourself into a future that you're going to be really excited about. So my vision in life is that I want to influence every single landholder in Australia so that we can get the right balance of environment and human needs. And I think now I have the patience and the platforms to absolutely make that a reality. And I guess I've only just formed this vision over the last couple of years because I've realised what is possible, and I've realised how to get attention of the people that you need to in order to make the difference that you want. So what I do, well, I used to work for the Victorian government in the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning, the Department of Name Changes. And I quit 3 years ago to start an environmental fundraising platform, which hopefully all of you have been using. It's called Edge Pledge. And it's all about finding new ways to get money in to support environmental projects. So I worked in government for many years, and I knew that there just wasn't enough money out there for people to do the things they want to do. Like, it's awesome ideas to save species, but everyone is just fighting for money. So I thought, well, where's our Movember for the environment? Got around with some mates, and we just made it up. We figured out what it could be, this idea of Edge Pledge, which we've got some world first concepts, which we think is pretty cool, and it's been going for a couple of years. So it's all about you picking 3 challenges, your friends vote with their money to decide which one you do, You do that challenge and money goes to the wildlife on the edge. We've got Zoos Victoria, Taronga Zoo, Jane Goodall Institute, Landcare Australia on board, and it's building, which is really exciting. And through Edgepledge, so through quitting and starting this business and doing my own thing, creating content, all these other opportunities have come to me. And it's not that I knew they were going to come, it's more I created this content, I put it out there, I had this idea, I made it happen, and other people have come to me offering opportunities. And I guess that's why I'm so excited about the future for you guys right now, is if you create stuff, if you create content, and I'll get to the details in a minute, opportunities will come to you and people will come to you with those opportunities. So at the same time as quitting and starting Edgepledge, I had this other idea that I wanted to start another business called Cultivate Farms. So I grew up in a dairy farm in central Victoria, and I still remember walking back from the dairy one day with my old man, and I was about 8, and I looked up to him as I was walking back and I said, "So Dad, when do I get the farm?" And he just laughed straight away and he said, "You're not getting the farm. Mum and I have got to sell this thing, get the money so we can retire." So I knew at age 8 that I'd never be a farmer because I didn't have, I think, something $1 million to buy our farm. I think, well, where am I going to get $1 million from? Either I win the lotto, or I marry someone rich, or that's about it. So farming, not an option for me. And then about 20 years later, my mate Tim Hicks and Tegan Hicks, who are co-founders and they live in Albury, we caught up one day and Tim's frustrated wanted to be a farmer, and he said, "All I want to do is be a farmer, but I can't afford it. Imagine if there was a business that helped buy farms for young people." And I went back to being the age of 8, and I thought, wow, imagine if I was 8 years old and my old man just told me I can't have the farm. But I said, "Don't worry, Dad, I've got a pathway here to own a farm anyway, so I don't need you anyway, see you later." And have a pathway mapped out with people on the same page as me who know that I want to own a farm. So that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't know what this answer was, we just knew, let's find a business, or let's make a business that's going to somehow access millions of dollars and give it to new aspiring farmers. Sounds pretty easy. So we spent the next 3 years on a thing called Google and on a thing called Facebook and Instagram, creating content, researching and trying to find the solution. How do you make it possible for someone with no money to own a multi-million-dollar business? And the last 3 years we've been trying to figure it out, and we've generated a lot of momentum. We've actually got our first farm match, so it's all about matching people. It's a dating website really for farmers. If you guys want to be a farmer, I recommend you become a farmer. So we match aspiring farmers with investors and retiring farmers, and we've matched an investor with an aspiring farmer. So there's a couple, all they want to do is farming, they've been doing it, leasing land, and all of a sudden now they're about to be put on the farm of their dreams because we've matched them with an investor who wants to buy a farm but doesn't want to run it himself. And we've got a few other matches going on at the moment. We're doing crowdfunding, so we're getting for $2,500, which hopefully all of you guys have that in your savings account. You can buy part of a farm. Isn't that exciting? It is. So they're the two. So they're the two social enterprises. So started both of them at the same time. But again, I didn't know. No one told me this is how you go about starting a business, or no one told me you should do it. I just had this drive inside me because I wanted to make a difference. I had this vision around supporting landscape management, and I had a crack at it. And so by doing that, I got to meet investors, and particularly impact investors. And these people, you should Google this concept where people want to spend money and buy into businesses that actually do good for the world as well. So they want to make money, but they want to do good at the same time. So by starting these two businesses, it opened this world to these people, and now I work with these impact investors in an organisation called Wodonga, and it's all about incubating entrepreneurs who have a focus on biodiversity. And they're incubating businesses like Cultivate and Edgepledge to try and make an even bigger impact for our environment, so that we don't have to sit around waiting for government or philanthropists to hand out money to fix up nature. We can use the power of business to fix up nature. And so the idea of starting a business that could make an impact on the world and you make money from it as well just blew my mind. I absolutely love that concept. And again, I wish someone told me that that is a possibility and it's absolutely available to anyone here. If you've got a passion for something, you can start a business to solve that, help solve that problem. So I want to quickly give you a little bit more of my history, and then I want to talk about an alternate history, if I was your age now, and then give you some ideas that you could go away with, and also we can use that as a basis of some questions. So I grew up on a dairy farm in central Victoria, and I had this passion for the environment. So my mum grew trees from seed, and she'd walk down the end of the farm to get away from all the kids once a night, and she'd plant a tree, and I just watched her doing that. And then one day I just asked her what she's doing, and she showed me how to grow trees from seed, and I thought it was pretty cool, and it was probably a bit dorky, and none of my friends did it, but I loved it, and I love this idea that I can create life, and this life can create habitat and life for more life. And so I took it up and I started growing these trees, and I started selling them back to mum and dad for me to plant them on the farm. And I knew I wanted to make an impact in the environment. I thought, well, how do you do that? Probably the best way is to work for government. So I went and studied environmental science, and I happened to get a scholarship with the government, and I worked there for 15 years, which is a very long time. But I did it working in environmental science, environmental policy, waterway health, threatened species, bushfire management, pretty much Captain Planet, and I just don't have heart. And I loved it, but at the same time I had this craving to come up with ideas and to solving problems, and I haven't done it for a little while, but I used to come up with 10 ideas a day, just on any topic, just because I wanted to have the skill, and I still think this is so powerful, the skill of being able to provide a solution or an idea for any problem at any time, because I think ideas are the new currency. And if you are good at coming up with ideas, you'll get a lot of bad ideas, but you'll get a few gold ideas that you can go and follow yourself. So I encourage you to keep thinking about ideas, because that could be your gateway to you then finding the pathway to a great life that you want to live. So I'll be constantly coming up with these ideas, and it was at a meeting around a threatened species strategy that never got released, that I said, why are we waiting on government to hand out money? Why don't we have it, where's the Movember for the environment? And at that meeting, everyone laughed, and I had one of those montage moments, thinking, wow, yeah, where is that? And I saw the future of how this could unfold if I developed our own fundraising platform. And then the idea for the Cultivate farms came through a conversation with my mate, but I've always thought about that idea that no one could own a farm unless you're rich or you inherit it. But without these ideas, I wouldn't have known what were the bad ones and what were the good ones, and I couldn't have chased it. So after 15 years in government, I remember getting home from work one day and just semi-slamming the door. It wasn't a massive slam, but I was fed up, and I said, that's it. I want to follow these ideas. I was living in Melbourne with my wife. And so I said, can we go live with your in-laws, with your parents, my in-laws? And eventually she said yes, so we lived the last 3 years here in Albury with my in-laws, which is a sacrifice sometimes you need to make. They were amazing, but I couldn't have done it without having their support, in that I didn't have to have an income. And I just worked. I just made stuff up. I Googled and found solutions to these two problems around funding for the environment and farm ownership for young people. So that was my journey. But I've been thinking about what would be my alternate journey, and I want this to get you guys thinking about any passion you might have, or just the idea of using Snapchat to create your future life. So let's say I'm back being 8 years old and I see my mum planting trees, and I say to her, Mum, I love it, I want to try and do that as well. What I'd do is I would then get my phone out and I would start documenting my journey of planting seeds turn these seeds into trees. I'd go to the greenhouse, I'd film it, I'd do little selfies of me planting the trees, showing how they're growing, go out to the paddocks and show how they're growing. I'd just create this content. I'll probably put it on Snapchat, maybe Instagram. And I just start documenting my journey, saying, hey guys, I'm Sam, I'm 8 years old, or 10 years old, or 16, and I just love trees, I'm going to plant them, and I want to show you what I'm doing. By doing that, I'll get 20 followers, then 50 followers, and then I think, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search simply by typing in trees or environment in Instagram. I'm going to find all the influencers in Australia. I'm going to direct message every single one of them and tell them who I am. I'm going to ham up the story that I'm a young person, that I love the environment, and I'm doing these cool things around growing trees. I'm going to ham that up. They're going to love it. I'm going to do interviews with them through Skype. I'm going to record it. I'm going to put it up. And I'm going to create a whole interview series of me talking to people who grow trees or who are fixing up farms. And I'm going to become the young person who knows everything about planting trees on farms and become an online influencer over the next 3 years. I would, at the same time as creating this attention, I would put ads out on Facebook for $5. I'd somehow get that money. I haven't figured that out yet. And I would put ads out saying, I can plant trees on your farm for whatever dollars it is. hamming up my story again. I'm a young entrepreneur on a farm having a crack, and I would start building a business, and I'll get my mates to work for me. I'll take a clip of what they get, and I'd spend even more time generating content and documenting my story so I can get more and more work from local farmers. I'd start getting grants from government because they'd love my story, and I'd hand that up. People would start inviting me to speak at places because I'm this young dude trying to have a crack at saving the environment. And I've got the attention. I've probably got about 5,000, 10,000 followers online, which for that niche is probably heaps. It's not about trying to get 1 million followers, because I know not everyone loves the environment, but I just want to get those people who do, and I want their attention. So then I'd become an online influencer in the environment after 3 or 5 years, and I'd use that as my living resume, and I could hit up anybody I wanted to, any organisation in Australia that I wanted access to or I wanted something from, and that would open the doors for me. Sounds pretty good. I absolutely believe it's absolutely possible. And that's why I want to talk about this last section now around this idea of dabbling, documenting, and patience. And as I talked about before, if you guys are sitting here and you don't really know what you want to do in life, you don't know if you're going to stay here or go to Melbourne or Sydney or whatever it is, I just, again, think it is the best time in history to not know what to do. And that I encourage you to dabble and try things. You have Google, Instagram, YouTube, all the other platforms out there that you can find information on any single topic you need, you want. You could go get your job at Macca's and spend between 3 and midnight every day doing the research and picking up a topic and going with it and just trying to figure out, maybe I'll document my journey of understanding why pink M&Ms are the best thing ever, and become the pink M&M person and make money that way. Whatever your passion, it doesn't matter. The principles apply to whatever it is you care about. Like I'm 35, but I've just started. I feel so young, and I cannot wait for the next 35 years. When I'm 90, I'm going to be starting businesses and using teleporting as my platform to get information out, whatever the technology is. So I just want to encourage you that don't stress if you don't know what it is what you want to do. Have a go. Take risks. Again, you're at 16 or 17. You might feel like, I don't know, you're old. I don't even know. I can't remember what I used to think at that age, but there is just so much time ahead of you, and enjoy it and have a crack. And then it's back. So that's Dabble. And then if you found a topic that you care about, I really encourage you to think this idea of documenting. And this isn't about you necessarily having to do videos of yourself. It could be writing, it could be doing podcasts, it could just doing photos. But this idea of creating content around documenting your journey of finding out about a topic. You don't have to be the expert in pink M&Ms or in Hereford cattle or whatever it is you care about. All you need to do is say, hey, I'm here to learn about this topic. I want to become an expert in it over the next 10 years. I'm going to document my journey, and people will love it. I've got a question about this around who you guys follow online and why do you follow it? And I would argue that most of what they're doing is just documenting their everyday journey, and that's why you love it. So why aren't you doing it? And then patience. It will take years for anyone to care about what you are doing. You'll probably have to post 6 times a day for 3 years before anyone starts watching. But if you're good enough, eventually they will. And that is when things will start to build. So again, I encourage you that this isn't a solution that's going to happen overnight. This is about you knowing, yes, I want to have a crack at something. I'm going to stick at it. I'm going to keep posting, even though people bag me out that I'm doing these selfie Facebook Live updates once a week. I'm going to keep doing it because I've got this bigger picture here. I know it's all about attention. Where is attention? It's online. Everyone's on their phone. I need to be there. I want people to know this is what I care about. And from that, people are going to open doors for me. And I'm going to take over the world in whatever it is that you want to have a crack at. So I encourage you, patience is such a key thing. You need to, and the reason why I think patience is so key, but patience is so key, but at the same time, you have these tools in front of you that can access anybody. So you can send 100 direct DMs on Instagram every night to the people that you want to influence, and maybe one person responds once a week. But again, never in any time in history have you had this ability to access these people right there for free. And it's not about trying to convince everyone, you're just trying to convince one person that you're doing a great thing and you want them to back you. Then you'll get another person, and then after 3 years you'll get your third person, and eventually things will keep snowballing and you'll keep finding those people who will back you. So that's it. I really just love to do some back and forth with you guys, but I just really think this idea of dabbling, like just go for it, you're young, take risks. This idea of documenting is so key. It takes the pressure off you if you do want to follow a dream. You don't have to be the expert, but you can be the best at documenting and letting people follow your journey. And then have this patience because you've got this big vision that you're going to influence people all over the world. And you know it's going to take time, but you're going to keep at it and you're going to keep creating content. And so for me, if you think about leadership, especially personal leadership, I just think this content creation on social media around the topic you love can just open the doors to you to a whole new world. And I'd just love for you guys to think differently, because you probably all got pathways, and it's all fine, whatever pathway you go is fine, but you're probably thinking university, then I get a job, and then I'll be an influencer. But those days are probably numbered. More and more it's going to be about who are the people online creating useful, practical content that can have the attention and can make things happen. So, thank you.